Welcome to episode 280 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Good morning.
Good morning. I had a weird cadence right then.
You did. It kind of threw me off. That's why all I said was good morning.
Yeah.
In an extremely awkward manner.
You've been going with good morning lately.
I have. It's easy. It's presentable. It makes it feel like, yay, happy to be here. Which I am happy to be here, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I can just come off as a miserable prick, and I'm trying to get away from that as much as possible sometimes, for the most part.
In appearance or in reality, you're actually getting away from it?
Just on the podcast.
Okay. Still a miserable prick.
I can be.
Yeah, but not for the hour to an hour and a half that you're here.
Not for the adoring fans.
Right. I get it. I understand. Your greeting is like, we're going to talk about it a lot here shortly, but like Detroit, I feel like when the show starts, you've got like an X and a circle prompt.
Uh-huh. Yep.
You've got like a good morning, but then you've also got like a fuck off.
I don't have a whole lot in between. Is that what you're saying?
But you've got to hit one of those as the show's starting, and you've only got a second to hit it. You got a quick time event at the beginning of every show.
A QTE, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of those decisions that I can never change, though. I can't lead the beginning of the show with "fuck off." Come on.
I bet if everyone goes back far enough, you can find that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Probably not. Maybe that was the general idea I was trying to get across. I never actually came out and said that.
I'm not sure about that. Someone let us know. I'm not sure that that's never happened. I don't
think it has.
280 is a lot.
It is a lot, but I don't think I ever led the show with "fuck off."
280 shows. You don't think that ever accidentally happened?
No, I don't. I stand by that too. Prove me wrong.
I won't be proving you wrong, but someone should.
Someone should. There's nothing to prove wrong. I've never done that.
So how's your week?
My week? Long.
Yeah.
My week seems to have been long.
But
long.
I've been saying this for like 3 weeks that work should slow down.
And it hasn't yet?
To be honest, it's kind of pissing me off a little bit because you know how when you have things to do, like you get them done and then you're like, it's going to slow down. I got these 3 things to do and it's going to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I am on the verge, like I am on the line of slowing down and I can't get off of it.
You can't get past it.
It's so close to being a normal work week for me, but there's still like even next week there's one stupid thing that I'm not going to have to do that's going to keep that week from being normal, going to cost me time, which has me speed up on all my normal stuff.
Right.
Which makes that not a normal week.
Yeah. Listen, I'll be one of the first people to tell you that as far as I'm concerned, your job should never, ever be a priority.
Yeah.
But it is for most people. It should never be, because I'm constantly in fluctuation between my 8-year-old self, and we talked about a little bit before with Elon Musk, but I'm constantly in fluctuation with my 8-year-old self and my grown-up responsible self, and they are constantly battling each other out inside. And
see, I used to be a lot like that, but like as I get older, there's less of a conflict. It's like they both know when they can come out.
No, my guys fight. We both fight. We fight inside. It's a raging battle inside.
Like I go to work to get it done so that I can go home and play.
But I am literally it's funny because I go to work and everyone's there is like they're like they'll take more hours, they'll work extra hours and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, cool, give them my hours and I'll go home.
Right. That used to be me. I found myself last week sitting in front of a room of some people who just started. I didn't have enough for all of them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said, I'll go home. And it got all over me.
Really? It bothered you?
Yeah. Which is weird because that would, I mean, you rewind 10 years ago, I'm probably that guy. But I was like, you want to go home, sell yourself short, not get all the training you can get so that you don't give yourself the best chance to make money to provide for your family? You want to go home? The guy's like, I don't know if I'd do anymore. Like I thought I did a minute ago. Now it's less like I want to do that. But it's not. I'm not trying to rain on the person's parade, but that's where I'm at.
Oh no!
You all right?
I'm dropping stuff.
Everything
over
okay?
Here, yeah. Everything's
I'm
great.
like, you're in training. This is the most important time that you'll ever have here. You only get one shot at this.
At the training aspect? Oh yeah, I would never do it during training.
And you want to go home.
And I wouldn't do it if we were busy. But you know,
well, it's different. It's
you know
different.
what? If we're slow, we've been slow all day. Let me go home at 3 instead of 4. I don't mind.
It was a hands-on thing, and I didn't have a hand for him. So I was trying to figure out how to get someone to.
Well, he should at least be watching then. Watching someone else put their hands on.
Well, the thing is, I didn't have anyone for him to watch, and that's what I was trying to get lined up. 3 people that needed to watch, 2 that could be watched, and he was like, "I'll go home." No, if anyone's going home now, it's not you, asshole.
He probably should. And okay, and there's a difference also between. Like you said, this is his first day of training.
It's not his first day, but it is important training.
If he's training, he's relatively early in the aspect of his career.
Oh, he's worked there less than a week.
Yeah, okay. That's not the time to be pulling that out. When you've been somewhere for 2 years, like I have, maybe say, "Hey, you know what? I'll go home early. I don't give a shit." But not on your you're like your 3rd day there. That's not the day to pull that out. You do have to be smart about it.
If I held the kind of power that I wish that I did, he would have went home forever
and never came back.
Yeah, because that's not the people that we need. He's probably fine. I don't even know the guy. He doesn't work for me. I was helping out, filling in for someone else.
So who cares then?
I'll go home. Sit down. Sit down.
No, you won't, my friend.
Put your hand down.
Won't.
Don't ever raise your hand. Put it down.
No, you won't.
Right. Let's get one thing clear. I mean, I went on this little rant about how, if you don't apply yourself right now, you're setting yourself up to fail for the future, and that's a waste of all of our time.
Ooh, way to go on the fucking dad speech.
Oh,
Jesus.
yes. Dude, it got real, like the world's ending.
Jesus.
Because I'm telling you, it went all over me.
When are you going to make something of yourself?
Yeah. You want to be a loser your whole life?
Wow, look at you're such a jerk. Don't.
Dude, I went into it hard too, like immediately.
I kind of feel like we can't be friends anymore.
I'm telling you, the older I get,
because I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, the older I get.
Right.
That guy didn't need it in his life either. I could tell by his expression. Clearly, he's older than I am too. But I don't care. It's like, if you're not going to apply yourself, get out of my face. You don't think I want to go home every day?
Well, that doesn't. But that's you see now you're pushing something onto it that isn't necessarily there. It doesn't mean he's not going to apply himself. He's actually trying to make the boss's job easier.
No, fuck that. What he's trying to do is he's trying to go home,
right,
and be a piece of shit. What he should say is, or maybe, how about this? How about you bring a solution to the table? What if we did this? Because someone else on the other side of the table, after I went on my rant, who's suggested a solution that was a viable option. Why didn't we just do that instead of someone volunteering to fail?
Fucking overachiever that person is.
Yeah, I was like, I appreciate you. Way to ignore the rant I was going on and come up with a solution while I was talking.
That's yeah.
Because here's the thing: if you're a go-getter,
I kind of get what you're saying in like your situation, because I believe there's a commission involved, not with you, but with this person.
Certainly. So he is in control of his future.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm hourly.
Right. So this was not the best foot to start on with me because
now he does not want to control his future. Right, he wants to not have a future.
He's a bare minimum kind of person. Nothing wrong with that, but this is not how you get rich with us, by being a bare minimum person.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to be rich. Maybe the guy doesn't want to be rich. Maybe he just wants to live his life simply and just go about his business, and give him a little bit of credit for that. Not everybody needs to be rich or wealthy or have a bunch of money.
Yeah, but the position doesn't allow that.
Okay, well, he'll find out then.
Yeah, but that's a lot of effort and work on everyone else's part for him to find that out.
True. Listen, it ain't the first time. It ain't the last time.
So if I can give you a little hoorah-rah coach's speech before we leave the locker room that maybe hurts your feelings, then maybe it'll just speed this process up for everybody. That's where I'm at with it, because so much of my time is spent on trying to ensure everyone has what they need, that if you're not serious about this, let me spend my time with someone else.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm cool spending the time, but let me spend it with someone who wants to be here doing this.
I see it from your point, too, but I also can see it. Like I said, I still have the raging battle inside me, so I can see it from his side, too. But I also understand yours. And you both have, it's just different lifestyles.
Where it's funny
choices.
For me, though, is that, like I said, you rewind, I'm that person. It's like, I'll go home.
Right.
I mean, I said 10 years. I don't even know if you have to go back that far.
Like, I don't know, a year ago, maybe?
No, it's at least probably 6 years ago. I've been slowly getting that way where I'm like, I get to work early every day. I usually stay late.
I've always gotten to work early.
I'm not always... like it. Don't mistake everything I'm saying for I'm a company man, because I'm far from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, listen to this all of a sudden. Now his tune is changing.
No,
whatever.
No, it's
whatever.
Not. It's just that when
I take
I'm there,
personal pride in everything I do.
Oh, it's definitely not that either. But if I have to get up and go in, and in my new role, pretty much all of my effort is to put into making other people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially now, since I've taken this new role, if I go in and I'm spending my time and energy on you, and you're not giving that back, I'm done. I'm done with you. Thank you. Goodbye.
No, yeah, I mean, I understand that.
If I was going in and taping up boxes all day long, I probably wouldn't have this thought. I'd be like, just fucking tape the boxes. Life is good. But I have to go invest in other people, so I need the investment back. If I was investing in an object, it wouldn't matter. See,
my problem is I deal with a lot of different internal departments at my job, and my biggest problem is that inefficiency is. I will end things for inefficiency. I can't stand it. I can't stand it when there's, look, if you do it this way, this way, this way, this way, it's going to be easier for everybody, and everybody's going to save money. Yeah, we like it this way. Fuck you. Go spit.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time going, why would you do it that way? A lot of time. We're big on self-discovery. Let me tell you something I'm not good at. Allowing people to self-discover.
Right.
You're wasting a lot of time being dumb right now. If you could just tell me the thing I need you to say.
The best example is stock orders. What I do, we are responsible for stock orders once a week. At different places, but it's pretty much the same at all of them, but I'm going to this one particular one. And we have a big box truck that we have to take out for chemicals and pallets of stuff that we deliver. And we kind of have to go through the suburb, a city, small city type area, Clarksville type area, to deliver it there. And granted, it's only 10 miles down the road, but it's all lights. You're going by a mall, you're going by restaurants, it's busy at lunchtime and in the morning and at night when people are leaving work. And every time we take that out, it costs money to take that box truck out because it uses more gas, because it's fucking huge and weighted down.
Right.
And I'm paying my driver. So, let's go look and see everything we need and put it all on one stock order. Right?
That's how most people would do it.
Seems legit, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I'll get a stock order on a Monday. Then I'll get a call on the same day. Where's my stock order? As always, there's a 24-hour turnaround on all stock orders.
Right.
That hasn't changed in 2 years.
Right. So guess what?
It's the same way.
Right.
You'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're on a hold for 24.
Well, I need it now. Well, then, as we've discussed prior, you should have gone and done an order earlier.
Right.
Before you ran out, not when you ran out of everything. Okay, whatever. You'll have it tomorrow. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Fine, whatever. Wednesday, stock order. What is this? Oh, this is stuff we need. Why did you check it when you sent the order through on fucking Monday?
So let me ask, is it something that could have run out between Monday and Wednesday?
No.
Yeah,
it was all different stuff.
Unacceptable. Now here's how, I don't know if you can draw this hard line. I wish that you could. I would if I could.
I can't.
Yeah. You'll get it next Monday when you send in the order.
I can't.
Yeah, that sucks.
So anyway, that happened 3 times last week. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, they called and said, oh, we forgot to order this on our stock order. Now, that one didn't require the big truck.
But you could, if you were allowed, you could fix the whole problem by saying it's one weekly order. If it's not on there, you get it next time.
Yes, I could.
Because if they go long enough without the things they need, they'll be like, hey, we should pay more attention when we're ordering. Mm-hmm. There's no consequence now. They can just order it.
Exactly, and that's another thing that can be... Accountability is huge with me. Accountability and efficiency are my 2 biggest things.
Yeah. You got to have accountability. You also have to celebrate the successes.
Yes.
When they finally get it right.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Too.
This is your weekly.
Hey. I've been like, hey, good. This makes it a lot easier because you were able to get everything at one time. I can get it to you all at one time, and now we're good for the week. Great. If we could do this every week, that'd be great. Yeah, okay.
You got a positive reinforcement. This is our weekly work chat. We'll start coming out on Wednesday and call it Weekly Work Wednesdays.
We probably have no listeners anymore. They're like, I work all day. Why don't I want to talk about it with these fuckers?
I think a lot of them deal with the same stuff, though.
Probably.
It's nice. It's nice every now and then to hear another grown-ass adult say...
Bitch and complain about their job.
It kind of sucks a little bit, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like what I do. I like my job. I'm not miserable by any means. I've had it much worse. But there's always going to be a few things you're like, boy, if somebody would just let me fix this.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Take us to the top.
And just like it doesn't matter what job you have, I mean, you can go through, you could have a different job at a different place every week. There's every job you have, there's always going to be that one thing.
Oh, yeah.
That for whatever stupid reason, you absolutely hate doing. There's always going to be one thing. You're like, this would be the perfect job if only I didn't have to do that ever.
Yep. If only X wasn't there, or Y, or Z.
But it's always some menial, stupid tasks that probably isn't even hard. But you just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you spend more energy not wanting to do it than it actually takes to just do it.
Yes.
My favorite thing is when someone is leaving, they're like, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. I'm going here. I'm like, have fun. They don't have that thing, but they have a thing.
And that's what I've tried to explain to people, too. When they're like, man, this, I'm going to go here. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I said, but what you have to understand is that it doesn't matter where you work. There's going to be bullshit. When wherever you're going now, it's probably just going to be different bullshit.
Oh, I don't have that conversation. I'm like, have fun.
There's still going to be some bullshit. I do it with people that are close to me.
Have fun. Enjoy.
Nowhere is it all fucking bubblegum and roses, my friend.
If there was, it would pay $2 an hour and there'd be a line around the building to get that job.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but as all things considered, my bullshit level is pretty low.
Oh, mine too. I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm very happy with the company I work for. I'm very happy with the job I do, and
right.
I can't. I really can't. I can complain about it, but I
mean, we just did for 15 minutes, so obviously we were capable.
I mean, on a personal level, I can't really complain. Just minor ticks that make me be a little angry sometimes.
Speaking of feeling angry.
Uh-oh.
It's not a great segue. I just needed one. We had to get out. It
sure isn't, because I know what we're talking about.
We just had to get out of that.
It was not good.
Speaking of not good, Detroit.
No!
Well, I mean, you didn't like that one. I thought I'd try again. Do you want to?
I don't like that one either.
Speaking of not liking that one either, Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
I actually
came out on Friday.
I actually do like the game. Besides all those terrible
puns that segues you tried to swing in there, they were bad.
Speaking of being bad, now Detroit is. I said this before we started recording. Now we have not really talked about this game at all. All we did was try to figure out where we were so that we don't. We're going to attempt to keep this as spoiler free as possible.
Yes,
there are some things that you're going to hear through discussion that it's impossible for us to not say. Mm-hmm. As we talk, you're going to hear the characters' names and how many there are, and that those are not spoilers, but I guess you don't necessarily know that when you go in. Right. But for us to have any conversation, we have to talk about it a little bit. We'll try to be broad.
And neither of us has finished this game, so Ryan is a little further along from me, so he's even trying to keep spoilers from me.
Right.
So I don't think you're going to get anything game-breaking, but you may get just some very tiny, minor details.
Now, once we finish this game, I plan to have a full-on ruin-the-game conversation for you.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But we're not there yet.
And this is exactly the kind of game that warrants that, I think.
Yeah, because there's some things that I already know that you did differently than me.
Me too, just from... Have you been doing the trophy compare thing?
So, last night I did it for the first time.
Yes. I did too for the first time last night.
More talking about the in-game options to show you what your friends have done. You're the only friend I have playing it right now.
And you're the only friend I have.
So it's you when it says like your friends.
No, I haven't. You. I do have another friend. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I have one playing it. So when I click see what your friends, it's you. It should basically say like see what Dan did here. So let's talk about Detroit. It is from Quantic Dreams.
David Cage.
It's a David Cage joint. If you know anything about David Cage, he is very creative, slightly out of control.
A little bit. He's very much focuses on feelings and emotions that his games elicit.
Been described as overbearing by a lot of people who have worked for him.
Some, yes.
It would appear that maybe working conditions not great at Quantic Dreams, based on some reports that came out.
Yes.
But
they can neither be confirmed nor denied.
You are correct in that making people feel is why he gets up in the morning.
Yes.
He wants to make you feel.
That's what he wants out of his games.
So they did along the lines of these games, obviously not their first game, but along the line of these games, Indigo Prophecy.
Actually, I think wasn't their first game Omicron?
Yes, but it was different than what these are.
It was different than what these are. In the vein of these, was also known as Fahrenheit.
Yeah, Indigo Prophecy, then Heavy Rain, then Beyond Two Souls. No.
You're missing one.
No, that's it. Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and then Detroit Become Human. Fourth game along these lines.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so if you have played Heavy Rain or Beyond, I know Beyond was just a free game for PlayStation Plus, you can expect more of the same.
Yeah, it's...
The core mechanics of the game and how you play have not changed.
No.
They have been, I'll say with air quotes, they've been upgraded.
They have been upgraded, but, I mean, essentially it's the same principle since Indigo Prophecy.
It is button prompts.
QuickTime events?
QuickTime events.
Yep.
I mean, that is the whole entire game. Mm-hmm. Right off the bat, maybe the best looking PS4 game in moments that I have ever played.
Yes, it definitely has some moments where you cannot tell that you think it could be real.
So there is a scene. They also do. Go ahead.
They also do a good job in this because something on TV they'll actually show an actual feed.
It is real, right?
And it is real. So you're not. You're like, what? And it kind of messes with you, like in other parts. Well, is that a feed? Is that real? Is that just did they create that? So they do a really good job of messing with your own reality in that sense.
Yeah, because TV seems to be a mixture of fake stuff and real stuff.
And when you scan and see people, it's an actual picture of a person.
Right. And if I don't know how much you've really looked around, but pictures are real pictures like on walls or desks, or they are real people.
Yes.
Which blends it very well. But there's a couple scenes in game while you're playing that are not those, where I'm like, that could be a movie.
Yeah, it looks real.
The lighting is good enough and hard enough for me to get the details because it is dim lit.
I can think of one specific actual. The entirety of the scene was like that for me.
Yeah, I've had a couple where,
and that would be the one for me is the bar.
Yeah.
When he first walks into the bar and starts walking.
There's a scene that happens later on that is brief, but I don't know. If I walked in, I would not be able to tell you that you weren't watching TV. And it's very brief, but I was like, this fucking looks good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really, really good. And that's another thing that David Cage has always tried to bring. I think he tries to elicit those emotions and feelings by making it appear as real as possible.
Yeah, mocap and facial animation and all that's very important to the way that Quantic Dreams presents their product. Mm-hmm. I do think there are times where it feels very, very much like a video game. Where it tries to bring out that emotion and fails.
Yeah. There are a few times.
But the core mechanic of this game is the same as the other games. There are 3 playable characters. For as far as I am, I assume it stays that way. They are all 3 androids.
Yes, they are.
And they are all 3 on very different paths that you assume at some point will cross over.
Will coincide with each other. Yes, that is the assumption.
So the characters are very different, and I'm not going to get into them too much. But I guess what I'm wondering is, are you playing them differently? And for those that haven't played it, what I mean, you make options, dialogue options that determines the story, responses, things like that. So the 3 characters they're not standing beside each other, doing the same story. They're totally different.
Yes. We'll get to the choices that you're talking about in a minute. Dialogue options, choices you can make. We'll get to that in a minute. Because I have a serious problem with the way that's presented in this game. But yes, I am playing them differently. I'm trying to play them in the situation. So from what the game has presented to me about them.
So that's how I thought I was playing the game until last night.
Okay.
These 3 characters develop in front of you, and I said, when I started the game, I said, I'm going to play the way that character would play. Based off the only things that I know. And then last night, as I was quitting for the night, I'm about 6 hours in.
Okay.
I realized I have played every one of these characters identical.
Really?
Because in every case, in every instance, there's something that character wants more than anything else, and I have played it right into that. Into always selecting the option that gets them closer to the thing they actually want. And in doing so, these characters have all become, the options have all become the same, which is a little disappointing. And I can't blame them. But in trying to play them not necessarily how I would and play them how I think they would, very eye on the prize, because the thing that they all want is the most important thing to them. Mm-hmm. It has led them to all making relatively the same decisions in my game.
I have not done that. I know I got a feeling of what one character is going for. I've got a feeling for what another character is going for. And the same thing with the third character. Now, what I have tried to do is I do feel that those... And it's along the same lines, what I feel that character would want to do. But I don't feel I've played them in the same way. I do feel I've played them a bit differently.
Well, based off the world stats, it's very evident that I've played them very differently than a lot of people.
Right.
But for me, it's a no-brainer that that's what they would do. Because, and I will say, with the there is no time to make a decision. It is very quick.
Oh, yes, okay. Yes.
They give you for fucking ever on the things that you don't care about. It will literally sit there forever.
Oh, that's kind of the point.
Like, if you have to hit up, it will sit there till you hit up.
Yep.
But if you have to make a decision, it's split second. And,
a hard decision.
And so in my mind, it's always, do this thing. Do the thing that person would do. Don't think about it. Don't even do the thing they would do. The other issue so let me just tell you the big issue I have, the big problem that I have with this game.
Okay.
I have one major problem that is this entire game is built around.
I have one too, and I'm wondering if it's going to be the same, because we haven't talked about this at all.
I have a big problem with the flow chart. And let me tell you why.
Because now you know what you didn't do?
No, I don't even... It breaks the immersion for me. I don't need that. I don't need to see it at all. The game is fundamentally built around you figuring out how everything goes down.
Right.
But it breaks it for me. I'm making choices as these characters based off what I think they should do. And then after I do, it's like, oh, look, you could have done all this. Okay, like I didn't do all that. Get that out of my face, because now you're pulling me out of the fields. Every time they cancel whatever I just did because they show me a flow chart of the options I selected. It makes it feel way less organic and way less like in the moment when you just show me that I just selected A out of A, B, and C.
Right.
To me, the flow chart would be amazing to see after the game was over.
That might have been a better way to do it.
But the game's totally built around the flow chart. Like, I'm not saying it has to go away. It's just the presentation after every single chapter that you play is kind of like, oh, okay. It's still a game. Clearly a game.
Well, I think that's probably going to come more into play at reference if you try to do a playthrough of some sort. You may be able to play through chapter by chapter.
Sure, you can chapter select as soon as you complete a chapter.
Yeah, and that's just, I haven't even accessed that far. That's just speculation. But I think what's interesting about that, what you're saying, is that kind of sorry. You're right. It does take you out of the feels. But to a more grounded approach to the game, it's the androids aren't supposed to have feels.
Yeah, but the game is all about making you feel, though.
Based on, yes. And the flowchart isn't about you. I think the flowchart is more about the androids in the game and a kind of a flip side of the game. I understand what you're saying and I understand how it breaks the immersion for you. I completely get that. And I mean, there's no... Maybe it should be an option to see it or not, and not automatically pop up. Because I find it interesting.
If it was an option...
It doesn't break my immersion at all.
It should be there. It just shouldn't... To me, it shouldn't be in your face. Mm-hmm. You don't need any of that information.
Right, you don't.
In the first real-time playthrough, you don't need any of that information.
It should be optional for you to look at. That I agree with.
You don't even need it. Like, it is super unnecessary in your first playthrough of that game to get any of that information.
Allergies. Sorry.
Allergies. It's just not necessary.
Yeah. No, I know. So that's your major problem with the game?
So that's the biggest thing that keeps me from, I feel like, accomplishing the thing they wanted me to accomplish, which was to feel. I've had moments, but for the most part, it has just felt like selections on a tree because they've simplified it down to that.
Okay.
Another issue I have, and maybe it's the way I play the game, I'm all the time doing shit I didn't mean to do because I'll move the stick and it just does something. I had a major fucking moment happen because I was moving the stick and it corresponded with the thing that you do when you get close to this thing when you move the stick, and I would not have done it. There's a decision on one of my characters that I would not have done.
No, you can't be playing... Yeah, I mean... Because as you're just moving, just the prompts just pull up. And if you're messing with stuff,
Well, I move the stick around so I look all the way around me all the time, and that is not the way to play this game. Because it shows you where it wants you to look, but if you do that, you miss some things.
Are you using the R1 button?
No,
the
I
R1
rotate.
Bumper?
I rotate the camera.
Because that immediately turns you around and flips you.
Right. I rotate
the camera.
I rotate with the stick, and what that causes are button prompts if you're close to a thing.
Yep.
So if I'm rotating around and the button prompt is to hit right, and I'm rotating around to the right, I just did that thing.
Yep.
I also have some trouble distinguishing on whether if it wants me to hold or just hit it or just...
Yeah, particularly the touchpad.
So I failed a thing that it needed me to do that was pretty important.
Because you didn't...
Because I didn't hold. I flicked it up. It started the animation, and I thought I was done. I let off. It stopped doing what it was doing, and it could not stop what it was doing right then. And
Gotcha.
And I'm sure that then changed the course. But yeah, there's one major thing that I did, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Is something I've done already?
No.
Or a point I've gotten to?
No, and it can't be undone.
Oh.
I was like, cool. I don't even know, like, it breaks it a little bit for me, but I do know that one is a me thing and how I operate the controller for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the flow chart, I think there are more elegant solutions. You remember Until Dawn would just flash the butterfly?
Yes.
When you did something?
Yep.
I think that is a more elegant solution. You can go back and figure out later what really happened. Mm-hmm. But to actually see an Excel spreadsheet of if I click here, then I go here.
It doesn't show you what it is, but yes.
But it does show you that...
It does show you that there's another option.
You're smart enough to figure out by looking at it where the other option was.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously if I would not have said the thing I said to her, it would have went down this other branch. And it also shows you that no matter which branch you go down, a lot of them all end at the same place.
Yes.
So you see branching paths, even sometimes branch 3 and 4 times, but they all end up at this. There is only one ending. And you can see ending. World stats are 99% on those.
Yes.
Everybody gets to there no matter what you do. And that, to me, breaks it a little bit, too. I got a big issue with the flow chart. Though I think it's necessary and very awesome after the game, I think it is very unnecessary between chapters. And I have started just closing out immediately when it shows it to me.
Well, my biggest problem with the game is it's a personal thing. I understand why the game can't do it. And don't get me wrong, I like this game. I'm having fun with this game. I enjoy this game. It looks great. I like the ideas behind it, and I want to see where it goes. But all of the big choices that it's giving me are still being directed by the game. Like, what if I just want to be an android and just follow all the orders?
So I feel like in most of the dialogue options, there is something that is similar to that. But
it's not close enough.
And I don't know if you've had these before, but you pick something and what they say is totally not what you thought.
Yeah.
I selected an option last night, and I was like, that's not what I thought he was going to say for me picking that option.
Like a convince or a...
it was like a sympathize, threaten. But he was like a smart ass, and it pissed the person off, and I was like, well, shit. Like, I guess I should have picked threat or whatever it was, because this didn't work out either, but that's not
I think I know exactly what part you're talking about, too.
Now, also, sometimes I say things knowing it's going to bring my relationship with that person down. Because I need to get my point across as that character.
Right.
Like, I'm not playing it to pick the best option. I'm doing what they do. And I would say 60% of the time it is not the best option for relationships.
Yeah.
Like, everything be damned, I got to do this thing. So, it's very interesting.
Yeah. But I do find the game has to, and I understand that it has to do it, but it still breaks it for me. Is that it's leading me to a conclusion.
Yeah,
yes, it wants me to feel on the way, but it is leading me to a conclusion. And in a game that touts, all these choices, and you can do all this, and you can change this and change that. No, I can't. I'm heading to my one conclusion.
Yeah, it's definitely like a bell curve. It flares way out in the middle, but it's going to get skinny.
Yeah. So that part kind of bothers me a little bit. That's my major problem, is that's what takes me out of it, is that those moments make me realize I'm in a video game. I can't make the choice that I want to make, that I would make for this character. That's not even an option.
Yeah, I compared trophies last night to see where you were compared to where I was, so I kind of knew. I didn't want to go like, hey, you at this part yet? And you'd be like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
With this game, I really wanted to avoid that. Mm-hmm. So I looked at the trophies to get an idea of where you. So there are chapter trophies.
Yes.
You appear to get the trophy based off the ending that you get.
Yes.
And if there's not one, then you all get the same one, or there's not one. So I had a pretty good idea by looking at yours where you were.
Yep, I had the same thing with you. And I knew you were already ahead of me, so... because I checked mine before I went to bed. No, he's ahead of me. Well, he's going to be more ahead of me. Oh, well.
Yeah, because I think you're 10% on trophies, and I'm like 19.
You really played longer then, because you were like 13 when I went to bed.
Yes, I'm 19% now on trophies, so... And all the trophies are just from playing it thus far. So I knew that right off the bat, I was like, okay, I'm going to let him tell me where he's at because there's no risk. The only risk is if you're somewhere totally different, but I don't think this game does that.
Yeah.
I don't think it allows you, like you were saying, to make choices that lead you down a totally different path.
Yeah, I don't know that it does either.
There are a lot of things...
I can see it's going to give you different endings, but that path... The path is going to come back together and then have these tiny forks.
I think there'll be tiny forks too. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I really like the game. I think the game is good. I don't think the game is great. I think it is a Quantic Dreams game.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I did not love Beyond. I loved Heavy Rain. This has not yet got me in the feels the way that Heavy Rain did. There's something about that father-son hard to replicate. There are some moments that I feel like they tried to replicate in this so far, and that's not playing as well with me either. It feels lazy because you've already done it. The city is cool. The gritty parts, to me, feel like Heavy Rain. Like they very much have a style when it comes to their grit and their dirt and their...
Rain.
The things that make cool-looking video games, so broken down houses with light coming through holes, those are there again because those make a good-looking video game.
Yep, they do.
But yeah, I do really like it. I just think that there are a few fundamental things that pull me out of it. There's a couple choices I've made and immediately thought like, I would not have made that choice, which is a good thing. That's how I want to play the game.
You played it for them.
There's one in particular that we did different that I didn't. I was like, no way in hell I would have done that. Didn't feel good about it. But based off our trophies, I have it and you don't. And I know where you are in the game, so I know that you didn't do the thing I did.
I think I might know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's...
Does it have to do with Marcus?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
But... the scene before that fucking hypes you up to make that decision.
You're right, it does.
As Marcus.
You're right.
Even though I know that's not the decision I should make, that scene hyped me up to make that decision as him.
And I didn't feel Marcus would, but I didn't feel regardless that Marcus would make that decision.
But you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly. I know exactly what you're saying.
The whole previous scene is about doing that very thing.
You're right, it is.
So,
and it takes control to not
do
it.
But
that's one of the things again about being an android is.
Yeah, but the theme of this game is that everything is losing control.
I understand, but that's where I'm being driven to a conclusion.
Yeah, and see, I could see how that feels less natural for you and more natural for me because I'm playing right into that.
Right.
I'm playing into this. This thing matters more to me than all of the things I've been told to do.
But the thing is like an android isn't supposed to have feelings.
Right.
Granted, they're starting to develop them, but essentially they're about following orders. And even if it did have feelings, he would have, out of respect, followed that order.
Maybe, but the order is
out of respect for who that was.
But the order is constantly, you have to be you. You have to do your thing.
And that's he.
So to follow one of those, you're not following another one.
That's not true.
Because
it doesn't say you have to be that. Like choosing to be you could also be just being a son.
Yeah.
And loving.
Like I said, if I'm making my decisions, I don't do it. But making the decisions I feel like he would have made, that's.
But this is a great example of what this game does. We've approached this from two completely different mind spaces. and we made completely different choices based on that.
See, but here's the thing that, again, and this is because we're talking about it.
Uh-huh.
You still ended up at the same scene that I ended up at.
Yes, I did.
Because the one that you're at now, I already played that.
Yes.
And my scene is, again, I don't know what happens in yours, and I don't
know how we got there.
Right, but we got to the same place.
Yes.
And my assumption is that there is not a scene between that one and the one that you're at now for him.
Yeah, that would be my assumption, too.
And there was not one for me either.
So, yeah, it's constantly looking like a frequency.
Yeah. Yeah, every one of them ends at the same small part.
Yes.
Because that decision that you didn't make, that I did make, is a very big decision.
And it takes us to the same place.
I don't know if you know what happens, but it's a very big decision. And you didn't.
I don't know what happens on your end.
Yeah, so
I know what happens on my end.
I have no idea what happens on your end because I don't understand how you can get to where I got to.
Right.
So.
But I also understand how I got my ending, but I think it's a little, too.
Mine's on the fucking nose. Because that is probably the decision that they wrote to, and then they tried to make another.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a story to this game. A natural story, and then everything else is, those are the choices you make that they've added in. But there is a natural progression to this game, would be my assumption.
Yes.
Because some decisions I have made feel way more natural than others, even in the way the game presents the next scene to me.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know if that's what would have happened.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that scene in particular that we're talking about, the way mine ended was, it felt forced. Like, okay, well, they're trying to get me here.
Right. Mine felt totally natural for the thing that happened. So I'm like, eh. Now what's interesting...
Not completely, but I felt it.
The thing the game does to try to make it all feel tidy is that NPCs out in the world have conversations about the things that you do.
Yes.
And to me, that's the game's way of sealing the seams, putting tape on the seams to make it all still line up and be one thing.
Putting the caulk in between the tile right there.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think the game is good. I don't think it's great. I think it's worth $60.
No doubt.
Feel no problem comfortably saying it's worth $60. You should play it.
Definitely.
If you like their kind of games.
You do have to like that style of game if you're,
If all you play is Overwatch and you love to play hero shooters, you're probably not going to like this.
No.
But if you understand what their games are and you have at any point enjoyed anything that they made, you should play this.
Yeah, it's definitely ranks.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to... I know that was probably not fun to listen to, us not talking about something.
Right. I'm trying to keep the spoilers out of it.
But at some point, we will totally ruin this for both of us and for you, too.
Oh, yeah. We're about to fuck some shit up once this is done.
Yeah, because there's a few questions I want to ask right now that I'm not going to, but I'm like, I don't even...
I want to know, too.
There's a couple things that... So first off, I think the flowchart is confusing, but there's a few things that if I'm looking at correctly and that it's showing you that you did that I didn't do... Mm-hmm. I'm super interested in where that went.
Me too.
Because a lot of the choices that I made, like I said, I didn't make for me because I would not have done those things. Dude, there's a couple decisions you have to make that are kind of fucked up.
Yeah, then it's...
Because they go against what you want to happen, and for me, what I want to happen versus what I think my character wants to have happen.
Right.
And I'm like, this is kind of not cool.
Yep, it's kind of... it puts you in that dilemma in life where, sometimes the best choice is still a pretty bad choice.
Yeah, because you're like, I do this thing,
but you just do not have a good choice to make. All your decisions are bad, but you have to make one of them.
Yeah. It's just, for me, it feels like I told you, they intertwine a little bit. You're like, if I do this, it's not good for this character.
Right.
Which is not a good feeling because they're also driven.
Yes.
So it gets complicated. This game, it makes me feel exhausted.
It's funny you say that because that's one of the reasons I haven't spent more time with it than I have.
Right, which is probably confusing to everyone because never at a point have we ever played a game and I was further along than you when we started at the same time, ever.
Right. But yeah, it wears me out.
It's exhausting.
It wears me out, and I'm like, I need to take a break.
It is mentally exhausting.
This is in no way a game I can sit down and play from beginning to end. No way.
So last night I started at 8 and around 11 I took a break.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, I played a scene and I just needed a minute after. Got a drink, had a little snack, came back, played another hour. And when I say exhausted, like, don't let that turn you off. It is just...
It's in a good way, but it's hard to... I mean, how many other games make you feel that way?
It is mentally exhausting to play this game. In a good way.
Yep, it almost feels like the game's forcing you to be a grown-up, and...
Yeah.
Like, this is how real life works. It's mentally exhausting sometimes.
And I'm going...
You're making decisions all the time.
When we get to a point where we're ready to actually fully talk about everything, we'll get into the story a lot more and what we think about the story. Because I'm sure that we probably already have different views on the story. So we'll get into that too. If you decide to play through it, let us know. And I would love to hear some of the comments once we start talking about them. Podcast at Gamestitch.com.
And that's been our Detroit Being Human podcast.
Become human.
Become human.
That's the problem with Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human. Stop doing this. Stop doing it, Quantic Dreams. Get us a different name. We just talked for a long time.
We did. We should probably roll through some of these.
So luckily the news sucks. It's not good.
So are you saying that it's all who gives a shit, or not really?
So I had a thought when I was doing this news. We started doing the Who Gives a Shit. I pulled one last week. Then I decided this would be more fun if I don't pull one every week. But when a story is on every site that I look at that no one cares about, I'll put it in here. And you won't know when it's coming. Maybe it'll be 3 weeks without one. But if you're looking for one every week, it's not as exciting. You know?
Says you.
Because any story that we have could fall under that category every single week.
True.
Because you don't care about the things you don't care about. That's how real life works. So I've decided to I'm not doing away with it. I love the segment, but I've decided to not force it.
Okay.
And let it come to me. That when I visit the 5 or 6 places that I like to find news at, and I see the same story on everybody's headline that I just can't, I'll bring that to the table.
Fair enough.
But there is not a specific Who Gives a Shit this week.
No specific one. Well, they're all kind of specifically a Who Gives a Shit for me. This is not a good week for news, which typically happens before E3.
So the first and strangest story on this list is Sony speaking for no reason. Yeah. During Sony's corporate strategy meeting, PlayStation boss John Cadera said that the PlayStation 4 is entering the end of its life cycle, which is the most unnecessary thing to say. And
hey, just a hint, maybe don't buy one now because it's at the end of its... What the fuck?
So I'll tell you why it's unnecessary to say, because he later clarifies that by end of its life cycle, they hope to be 3 years from now talking about what's next.
Yeah.
They think it's a 3-year process to get to what's next. 3 years is not, this thing is almost dead. That's prime time.
Right.
You are at your pinnacle right now.
So, yeah, mistakes were made here.
What an unnecessary comment to make.
Oh, but he goes on to say, and this is, this whole thing was a debacle. This whole press, because he also says Sony is considering many options for portable gaming.
This thing is weird as hell too.
What in the hell? No shit.
It reads.
Everybody is.
It reads like. It reads like
Garbage.
They're making a Switch. I don't know what's happening.
Only different.
Or maybe not at all.
Yep. But we haven't forgotten about it.
These are like two statements from the same gentleman. And I don't know enough about John Cadera to know. But both of these things could have not been said, and everything would be way better.
Fine. Yeah.
Because if I've been on the fence about buying a PS4 Pro, I'm not going to go buy one now. It's at the end of its life.
Right.
This story is on every fucking site that has nothing to do with video games. PlayStation boss says PS4 ending its life cycle at the end of its life cycle.
This is it's on CNN Money. It's in USA Today Money.
Sony says PlayStation near end of life.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, they did say that, but that's not what they meant. But why the fuck did they say that?
Yep. Good job, John. You basically just sabotaged Sony for 3 years.
And then to rebound with, yeah, but we're thinking about the portable though.
Yep. And we're looking at stuff.
Great, thanks.
Thanks for the clarification.
Talks
John.
about a portable that connects to a TV. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Isn't there one?
You better not be making a Switch, you son of a bitch. You better not be making a Switch.
So, yeah, this basically goes down as the disaster of all disasters.
So weird.
Executive meetings.
So this story happened like right after we recorded last week.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's still like the top of every
It's
site.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
But, and so it's a product of there being no news right now. It's also a product of you should be punished for making such a dumb comment.
Dumb for saying a stupid thing.
Golly. Andrew House also not a fan of the portable side of business, saying that it was dying.
Yes.
And then John Kadare is sliding right in and immediately telling everybody they're thinking about it, just batting some shit around right now internally.
Looking at we're looking at many options.
Now, it's so confusing because it's portable, the mobile side of things. Are they going to go that route? Is it the PlayLink side of things? Or is it something we don't even know yet? Or is it a Switch?
Many options.
Is it a Play Switch? PlayStation
They're looking
Switch.
at many options.
Many options. John Kadare, stop talking.
Could be any one of those things.
Stop talking, John.
It's a mess.
John needs a friend. John needs a friend, and he says, hey, I think I'm going to say this, and that friend go, I don't think you should say that.
Right.
What if you didn't?
Do these pants make me look fat? Yes.
Shuhei is so good at not saying things that he shouldn't say.
No kidding. He's amazing at it.
Call Shuhei before you talk. He'll tell you, John, you shouldn't say that probably.
This hurts me to say. Talk to Reggie Fils and me.
Yeah, Big Reg.
Jesus, he's better about it too, and he's a fucking goofball.
In fairness, I don't think Reggie knows anything. They don't tell him anything, so he can't.
That could be.
Reggie's got the kind of insight that we do.
Yeah, that could be.
But this guy could have called me and been like, hey, should I tell people we're going to be killing this off?
Nope.
Yeah, probably wouldn't if you wanted to ever sell anymore.
I would keep that on the down low.
Yeah.
Now, I understand what the process behind this was. They were trying to address the reported leaks of
PS5.
PS5, and all that. But, man, you don't say no. Those are just rumors because this one's dead. That doesn't even, in the context of things, that doesn't even make sense.
But they addressed it. They said there will be no hardware at E3.
Right.
They were good. People had kind of calmed down about talking about it. Then they're like, oh, but the PS4 is at the end of its life, though. It's like, well,
then old John.
Damn it,
then
John.
old John steps up.
Yeah. What are you doing,
That's
John?
That's why we can't have nice things, John.
I don't know. Maybe they're making a portable. Maybe they're making another home console. Maybe they're not making anything. I don't know. The only thing I know for sure is that the PS4 is at the end of its life cycle.
Which is 3 years, apparently.
And the crazy part about that is that 3 years it will have lasted longer than the PS3 did.
Right.
So it's a very long life. He should have came out and said, we're not slowing down yet. Like, this train's a running.
That's right.
Get on board. We got that Days Gone coming.
I was just about to bring up Days Gone.
Days Gone coming. Get
so
excited.
the only thing that could have made this worse is if old John talked about Days Gone.
If he had said, yeah, that it was in development hell. So it's not a news story, but I do want to give a shout out real quick to Dreams. People got to play that game.
Oh, yeah.
At the E3 Judges Week. Mm-hmm. And apparently that game is really good for what it is. Like, some people that shit on games like that have said, like, this thing is cool. Like, I always,
find out.
A lot of the ones I listen to are very hard on a lot of games. They shit on things that other people love. And somebody who I really thought was going to shit on this game said that they were a believer, and I'm like, that is shocking on every level to me. It will still fail in sales. To consumers, it will fail. critically,
it's going to be one of those cult classic critical darlings, though.
Yeah. It may be the thing that ends Media Molecule. It probably will be the thing that ends Media Molecule, but it made my heart happy to hear that they
like it.
That game is apparently good, and apparently it does have VR support.
Woohoo!
Right. I mean, really excited for Dreams.
I know you are.
That kind of got me going to hear somebody say, like, I'm not sure what the fuck it is, but it's really cool. Like, whatever it is really cool.
That sounds right up your alley, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they said it.
I don't know what the fuck this is, but I like it.
It is the progression, the natural progression of Little Big Planet. Like, it is a step further. You want to tell stories, you can do graphic novels. You want to make movies, you can make movies. You can make shows, you can make games. Like, it's Little Big Planet if you took the restrictions off of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, hell yeah. Absolutely. It'll be too complicated. There'll be hours of tutorials.
Oh, no doubt.
But I'm very excited. If for nothing else, I'm excited to see the things that come out of it. I want to watch shows and movies and graphic novels, and I want I love people's imagination, and there are so many people who don't have an outlet to get it out there.
Right.
That like excites me a lot.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that I have good ideas that I can
then put forward.
Yeah. I have good ideas. I don't know that I'm talented enough to make them even with a tool on my PS4.
Fair enough.
They said it's basically a game development tool and everything's in one place. They're not multiple programs. Everything, you do your audio, you do your visuals, you do your writing, everything is in one spot. So that is interesting, cool. But I still don't know that I would be talented enough to make my ideas come to life. Maybe, though. Battlefield 5, you ever heard of it?
A lot here lately.
After weeks of rumors, EA has finally confirmed. They've revealed Battlefield V, DICE's big return to World War II. The developer says that it wanted to go back to the series, go back to the origins. Battlefield 5 Origins. That's what they should have called it, maybe.
Probably not. I feel like it's been done.
It's coming out in October. October 19th for PC. You got to get it on Origin. PS4, Xbox One. However, users who subscribe to EA's Origin Access and who pre-order the game will be able to access a free trial on October 11th. Pre-order in the Deluxe Edition will open up the game on October 16th. However, the developer is also planning an open beta at an unspecified time. Trailer was weird for this.
It was very action-packed.
It was like gameplay that was like CG.
Yeah.
Like strange, like it's the gameplay, but not really. It
was weird.
Yeah, it felt, and I don't want anyone to write in and be like, you don't fucking know shooters. Fuck off. It felt like Call of Duty in the trailer to me.
I don't know if I got that.
It was very like over the top and it did not feel like Battlefield to me.
It was. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that trailer gave a representation of what a game is, of what the game is going to be.
I mean, I have no idea because I don't know what that game will be.
It was just kind of.
But it felt less like Battlefield has.
It was just people running around.
Has looked to me. Find out October 19th.
Yeah. Some of you.
Yeah,
not this guy.
Not me either. Sea of Thieves finally getting its first big update. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but it's finally going to hit this week. The Hungering Deep.
The Hungering Deep.
May 29th it's coming. I'm going to tell everybody what it does. You do what you want with this information. I'll tell you right now, it's not really enough. Their first big content update, though. So, among other things, they're a new permanent feature. There's a new monstrous threat, AI threat. So much like the Kraken.
Yes.
But there's a new thing which they haven't talked about and said what it is yet. It's just a new thing. I've read some reports that it'll attack any size ship.
Maybe it's Moby Dick.
God, I would love that. Additionally, Rare is adding a new instrument to the game, drums. So eventually at some point there has to be 4 instruments because we need to all play at the same time.
Right,
so
right.
I'm down for the drums. I actually think this is a good one. along with speaking trumpets, which allow players to find other pirates' crew who have embarked on the same voyage as you. I don't understand what that means or why that's important.
Me either.
On top of those items, the Hungering Deep also marks the start of a new limited-time campaign quest. This is key to this game's survival. They have to do these. So join this time-limited adventure that leads from the Outpost Taverns to lonely Forgotten Isles, piercing through the tale of Merrick, the Bard, and his brush with the Hungering Horror. That's what they say on their website. None of that means anything to me. But you'll be able to join Merrick on the hunt for his nemesis. Those who participate in the limited time quest will be able to earn exclusive rewards such as a Hungering Deep tattoo set. Yes, tattoos are part of all this new stuff. Rare is also introducing cosmetic items like the tattoo scars, customizable flags for your ship, starting with this update. There's some cool things in here, but it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Limited time quest is a good thing. You want to force me to play that game, that's how you do it. You force me to play it by forcing me to play it.
But you've got to do it more often than every 3 months.
Let me tell you something else that happened this week.
You played.
I did play.
Sea of Thieves.
I did play Sea of Thieves for a second.
I know you did.
I'll tell you why.
I know you did.
I'll tell you why. I'm minding my own business. I'm at work. I get a text message from our friend Thomas. And it says they got me, and it's got a picture.
Uh-oh.
So I click on it.
Yep. I know exactly what.
It's a Chips Ahoy soft batch package with Sea of Thieves DLC content.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm listening. First off, those are my favorite cookies if we're talking about packaged cookies.
Okay.
Soft batch are my favorite. I love Sea of Thieves. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good setup. So I do immediately go to the store and buy a pack of these cookies. Now, I want to clarify, it's on like all Chips Ahoy if you're not a soft batch person.
Mm-hmm.
But mistakes have been made in that the code for these are just on the bottom of the package. Completely unnecessary to actually buy the cookies if you have a smartphone.
Oh my gosh, really?
If you just turn it over, the code is just printed on the bottom of it.
Take a picture and go.
So, like any good person, I bought a pack, took a picture of a pack. I did a BOGO. I bought one, I got one. It all worked out.
Buy one, get one. Yeah, I get it.
And I'll tell you, so there are 4 rewards in this. There's some cool things about this program in that you don't. It's not random. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. After 4, you have them all.
Oh wow!
I like that. Doesn't matter what your package code is, you get the next progression. The stuff you get is cool. It is the Black Onyx collection for your equipment. So I have the first 2. I have the compass and the bucket. The bucket is solid black with like emeralds on it. It's fucking gangster. Plus I like cookies, so it's a win-win. But it's a super smart promotion, but they're super dumb for putting on the outside of the package.
On the outside of the package.
But because I'm a good person, I will buy one more pack and then take a picture of one. So I will have purchased 2 packs of cookies for all 4 codes. I think that's fair.
That's fair.
I think that's more than fair.
If you're going to teach them a lesson as well, yes.
I also told Howard when we got on that night, because he saw me in Sea of Thieves and said, "You playing Sea of Thieves?" I said, "I'm just getting the stuff from the Chips Ahoy package." And he said, "Hold the fuck on. I like both of those things. Tell me more." So I'm sure he'll be buying cookies before it's all said and done too.
He does love some fucking
He eats cookies like every night, so it's like a promotion made for him.
Yeah.
Now Thomas was saying he's a little disappointed because he wanted them to be like, let's lean full into this. Like, let's get a cookie eye patch, cookie sales. Like, let's go all in if we're going to market this way. And I get that side of it too.
I see what he's saying when he said that.
But I'm happy to just get free stuff that I think looks cool. So I think it's a smart promotion. I think they're dumb for putting it on the bottom of the package.
Fair enough.
Also, every time you enter one on a separate day, you are entered for another chance to win Xbox One X that they're giving away. Several of, I think.
Whoa.
So,
did you win one yet?
I don't think it works that way. I think it's like drawings at the end of it. Because it says every time you enter, you're entered into the grand prize drawing. Hungering Deep and Chips Ahoy. Those are the 2 things that you need to know about that. Far Cry 5 has announced an expansion, and it looks like you're going to Vietnam.
That's what it looks like.
It's very short.
Red Redler. Wendell Red Redler is one of the side characters. One of the NPCs in Far Cry 5. And basically you go to the Vietnam War with him, and you follow Red as he finds and rescues his squad mates in the jungle as he fights against NVA and VC soldiers.
Is that who's talking on the short teaser?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know whose voice that was, because I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, I don't think it was. But you can play it solo or co-op. It's going to include new gear and abilities. And you actually, after you finish it, you unlock 2 new story modes. Survivor mode, which is more challenging and limits your loadout. And action mode, or action movie mode, which basically gives you a generous loadout for more action.
I should have called that the Jerry Bruckheimer loadout.
Yeah, the Jerry Bruckheimer loadout.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
The Joel Silver loadout.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to blow shit up in this loadout.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
Yeah, the Michael Bay.
The Michael Bay loadout.
Oh, man, the Michael Bay loadout. They should just, to not get sued, they should just call it like the Bay loadout. Yeah. And let people understand that it's full of like rocket launchers and grenades and C4.
And slow-mo.
Yeah, slow-mo.
Because slow-mo helicopters, because let's face it, Michael Bay loves them some slow-mo helicopters.
So Far Cry 5's Hours of Darkness is going to be $12 if you buy it solo. If you have the season pass, it comes with it, or if you bought the $90 gold edition, it comes with it.
Yep.
There's
going to be 2 more coming: Lost on Mars and Dead Living Zombies.
Now, I don't see it here. Was there a date for this?
I don't think. I thought it gave a release date.
June 5th. June 5th.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought it was coming out soon.
Yeah, so June 5th, right around the corner.
Yeah.
So mark your calendars if you want more Far Cry in your life.
Go for it. I'm going to get this. I'd like to get back into Far Cry. It was fun.
Yeah, you had to power through the end of it, so it might be good to revisit.
So I could get to God of War. Yeah.
So it might be good to revisit that.
It might, because I had to stop exploring and just go.
Let me make.
So I can finish
I got to make 2 points real quick, both unrelated to anything we're talking about, sort of.
Awesome. Those are my favorite.
I should have said during Battlefield 5 they did announce there is no season pass content. All the updates will be free, which is very smart. Yep. It will not segment the audience like it did in the past. And I loved God of War. I did not have that urge to play it. Mm-hmm. I do want to say I have the urge to play Detroit. So I know it sounded like I shit on that game for an hour earlier. I do like that game.
Oh, Detroit? Yeah.
I know it sounded like I was negative because I talked about the things I don't like, but it's only because I couldn't talk about the things I do like without ruining it.
Right.
But
I still love God. I played some more God of War this week,
I don't
too.
not like God of War. I really liked God of War. I think it is a better game than Detroit.
You're just not driven to play it.
I want to play Detroit. Those games are perfect for me. Like, those games are the thing that I want. Mm-hmm. I want good storytelling,
I like them too.
Casual experience.
I hear you.
It's more than just
talk about storytelling, characterization all the time.
It's more than just a cookie cutter game, and I don't mean any disrespect to like something like God of War, because it's obviously better than almost everything that came out. But it is still that kind of game.
It's still a combo hack and slash.
Yeah. And it's I don't know. There's something about this kind of game that is right up my alley.
That's something about me loving God of War. It kind of came right at the right time when I was feeling a certain kind of way and really needed to just
kill some
annihilate
shit.
Creatures
right.
And kill some shit, and so kudos to that.
I still want to play it more. I want to play Horizon more. I mean, I felt the same way about that game. The game was incredible, but there was not that drive to play it.
I understand.
I need that drive in my life.
Listen, I get it. Horizon, Zero Dawn, God of War, they're no Alpha Protocol, my friend.
Yeah, there's something sometimes just speaks to a person. Just speaks to a human. You're like, I get it. I get this. Uh-huh. And then other people are like, I don't understand why you even like it. I don't even understand why Stardew is so fun. It just fucking speaks to me, okay?
Right. Who cares?
Give me a little room, all right?
I give you guys shit about Alpha Protocol all the time.
Right.
I love that game. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. The Wolf Among Us Season 2 has been delayed.
Yep.
So the reason they push it till next year is really all you need to know right now. It's supposed to come out the back half of this year. It's next year. I put this on there to ask you a question. is Telltale in trouble? I mean, I know they laid off people, so I know from that standpoint, obviously things aren't great. But are they in bad trouble right now?
I don't think they're in bad trouble. I do think they're at a bubble point. They need to make some serious changes to the way they do things, or they need to or they need to stop. So no, I don't know. I don't think trouble. I mean, I don't think they're in BioWare trouble where their next game causes them to die.
That's a product of them making two different sized games, though. The cost associated with Anthem is going to be leaps and bounds over the cost associated with the.
But I don't know that. I don't know. I still don't think they're in trouble.
See, I do think they're in trouble. In bad trouble. So on the website, Telltale said that this comes as a result of a few fundamental changes here at Telltale. Since we first announced the game last summer, many people assume they're talking about the 25% layoffs. I don't necessarily think that's what they're talking about.
Right.
Those games, and we talked about it. If you go back 2 years and listen to this
a number of times,
we're always talking about how they're not updating the engine. They're making too many games. There's too many. Their hands in too many cookie jars. I mean, this was a product of what they did this to themselves.
They did this to themselves. They oversaturated the market, and I think, and I don't think they're in trouble. No, but like I said, I do think they do need to restructure, and they need to back off. And
I know you loved it, but The Wolf Among Us 2 is not the right answer to me.
Well, to me, it's part of the answer. I think they need to get away from some of the like Guardians of the Galaxy was a lot of fun and was great, but I'm not sure that they needed another I'm not sure anybody needed another Guardian story.
But I felt that way about Batman, and people rave about how good their Batman is.
Batman is good. Again, I don't think it was necessary. I think they need to operate on, Wolf Among Us. I think they need to scale down and keep an eye on their niche market. I think they need to get away from trying to market their games to a broad sense of consumers.
Well, I think what they try to make are, and again, this is going to sound shitty, but I think they try to make money grabs.
Yes.
Something is hot, we're going to make a game around it.
Walking Dead, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, they're money grabs.
Everyone loved Guardians. Boom. I don't know why. And Batman's Batman, so you're always going to get that.
Yeah, Batman is basically a key to print money whenever you do it.
But Wolf Among Us was, even though it was based off a comic book, in a lot of ways, for Telltale, it's an original IP. It's not something that, that was like popular at the time, or it had this huge pop culture or current pop culture reference like Guardians or Batman or Game of Thrones. It was a chance to tell a cool story with a cool property that there was actually room to introduce as their own.
Yeah.
So I really think that was probably one of their better games, because you don't have any expectations going in regardless of how popular something is. Everybody says Batman's great, but just as many people get pissed off about, that's not the Batman I know. Well, no, it's not. It's a reinterpretation.
I just worry that there's not enough financial success in The Wolf Among Us when they need it probably more than ever.
Yeah, that is a problem. It's probably not the right time for that. But to be honest, I don't know what it is the right time for Telltale.
Let us know if you think Telltale's in trouble on Twitter @game_stitch. We got to keep this trainer rolling.
Regardless, they're going to ride the wave out anyway.
Yeah, till they fail.
They're gonna crash and burn. They're not gonna go gently into the night.
Speaking of not going gently into the night, it wouldn't be a show about video games if we didn't talk about Fortnite.
Oh, that's gonna be the title, by the way. Clickbait.
Yeah.
Fortnite
2? Question mark.
There you go.
I was like, there finally are no Fortnite stories. And then on Friday, this comes out, and I'm like, how do I not talk about this? This may be the best Fortnite story we've ever talked about, because in April, now there seems to be some conflicting stories here, but basically, according to Superdata, a research firm that tracks digital sales of games across consoles, mobile, and PC, that Epic made $296 million in the month of April on Fortnite. So let that soak in. We're talking $300 million.
That's some Jeff Bezos money.
And you're
right
like,
there.
oh man, what a crazy month. Yeah, that's up from March where they made $223 million. My God. You know, last week when I said everybody's making a Battle Royale game, guess I would too.
Right.
Guess if I knew what I know now, I guess there'd be a Gamestitch Battle Royale.
Don't be surprised if you never see Cliffy B leave the house again. Boy, he's got to kick himself for leaving Epic, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to make Fortnite all day, every day?
Didn't think that's true.
When you're a creative person, you don't want to do the same thing all day.
No, but I want to make $300 million
now,
every month.
He's probably kicking himself for not starting with vertical. What's that game called? Vertical Heights?
Vertical Heights, yeah. No, I don't remember.
Vertical something, I think.
Yeah.
He's kicking himself for not doing that game instead of Lawbreakers.
I'm curious if that game's still going to come out.
No, he said he was.
Because he
said he was going to leave the servers up for the foreseeable future, but there are no more updates coming.
They
for that
shuttered
game.
They shuttered the studio.
Yeah, so I don't know what'll happen, but I understand why everybody's like, "I'm gonna get some of that money." That's a lot of money. Even if you just took a small part of it, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Now I'll
take a fraction.
Who's trying to take a little piece of that? The old H1Z1 announced in 1984 that it was coming to PlayStation. Finally made it out. 37 years after it was announced.
1984. Is it really 37?
No.
It's 38.
No, 80. What did I say? What year?
84.
No, at 84 it'd be like 33 years.
84, 94, 2004. No, it's 40-some years. No, it's not. 30-some years.
Yeah. Anyways, it's finally out on PS4, and it seems that people are accepting of it at least. It launched on the 22nd of this month, and within 24 hours it had amassed more than 1.5 million players. Now, to me, this game is... I haven't played it yet. I've downloaded it. I'm ready to play it. I'm going to stream it with some combination of people I know. But this is more of a PUBG experience, I think. It looks more realistic.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, people say they are the OG when it comes to Battle Royale. Like I said, this was announced in 1814 for the PS4. Finally came... Or for the PS3, I think, when it was actually initially announced.
Yeah, I think so.
But it is finally out. It's free. There is a Founders Pack because games like this love to do Founders Packs.
It's all the rage.
But it is out there. You can download it. You can't open the store without knowing that it exists.
You downloaded it already?
Yeah, it's installed, ready to play.
You're going to play it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. I want to play it. It looks fun. I play the shit out of PUBG on my phone.
I know that. I remember.
So the problem I have with Fortnite is I don't like all the building. I love to build. I don't love to build at fast pace with no purpose.
Gotcha.
Like, I like the building in Fortnite Save the World, where you're building your base, making it look cool. I don't like I'm just going to build 3 walls and a ramp, 3 walls and a ramp, 3 walls and a ramp, and get as high as I can, as quick as I can, because if not, I'm dead. I don't like that. That's no good for me. My fast twitch isn't good enough. But a game where I can just hide and let everything happen and then just pop somebody in the face and win, I'm into that. I'm going to play H1Z1 once, at least. I also have State of Decay 2 ready to go, installed. So I'm going to play that. I'm excited about that, too. Right now...
Is that co-op as well?
Yes.
I might have to play some of this dumb shit with
But right now, the focus is on completing Detroit, because I will actually beat Detroit. It's the wrong word. I will complete Detroit. I don't think you beat it.
Complete it. You don't beat
it. That kind of game.
Beat it!
And there are already a few. So once you complete a chapter, you can go back and play it. Like, if you complete chapter 1, you can start it over.
Again.
Yeah. Chapter select is immediately after you complete a chapter. There are a few that I'm going to go back and do because I need to know what happens on the other side of it. But I probably won't play them all.
Right.
And I probably won't play through that game totally again. But there are a few things that I want to change. A few things
I want to do different, I understand.
There's a couple things I wonder what happens if you there are time limit on some things. I wonder what happens if you don't do those too. So,
well, some of them, I'm curious what happens if you do.
Yeah, I did them, so I could tell you.
Some I didn't. I missed. There was one I missed.
That's it for the news. Now it's time to go on for not. Whoa.
Go for it. Start again.
Calm down. Reset.
Start again.
Hit the reset button.
Start again. You can do it. You can do it.
Now it's time for Gone But Not Forgotten. My favorite, oldest, newest segment where we reach back in our gaming past. We tell you about something we used to love and maybe we still love. And we hope that you'll check it out on YouTube or maybe play it if you're a psychopath. And this week it's Dan's turn.
It is my turn. And this week, I'm feeling a little European this week.
As one does, right?
It happens, But I got to thinking about some of the great games. I watched a couple movies this week that got me thinking about this game. My game is 2002's The Getaway by Team Soho. Sandbox style, gangster, GTA type thing. Fully recreated London. Actual licensed cars. Actual licensed guns. Kind of riding the wave. I happened to watch Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels this week. Mm-hmm. So that got me thinking about it because this was kind of right around that time. The Guy Ritchie phenomenon was going off, and that's how The Getaway came about. Everybody jumped on that. Around the time, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, Rock and Rolla, all those. Set in London, very, very British. Very British. Speaking, all of it. I'm an Anglophile anyway, so I loved it. But just having the sandbox and run around London, it feels like you're playing in the middle of a Guy Ritchie movie, and to me, I realized that everybody was a Grand Theft Auto fan at the time, but I thought this was just top notch. Just
The Getaway was excellent, and I'm not sure at the time, side by side, that it wasn't a better game than Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
But it wasn't as accessible and as
well known.
So Grand Theft Auto has what I call stupid fun.
Mm-hmm.
And The Getaway was...
Oh, there was none of this.
The Getaway was much more serious.
The Getaway was much more serious.
So you could get a go-kart.
You could get a go-kart, and very interesting, didn't have a HUD.
Right.
Didn't have an HUD.
That game was awesome. Looked incredible.
Teach you knew where to turn by the turn signals flashing on your cars. So if you're an Anglophile, if you love it, check it out. I probably came up for the PlayStation 2. I've watched some videos. I don't think it holds up.
If you want to feel that way now, though, you can play London Heist on PSVR on the PSVR Worlds. Yeah, it has that. It very much has
that vibe.
The Getaway feel.
But yeah, The Getaway I loved.
They made a second one too, right?
They did. It wasn't as good.
Mm-hmm. The game just felt like it was missing Jason Statham. That's all that game was missing to be complete.
Yeah, it needed Jason. Yeah, exactly.
The game's really good. Yeah. I love The Getaway. I think that's a good pick.
And I watched Lock, Stock. I forgot how much I love that game, or love that movie. I happened to see it this week. I was like, I haven't seen that in a while. Let me see if it holds up. Fuck yeah, it holds up.
I watched Suicide Squad yesterday, and I did not like that movie.
You didn't like it?
Mm-mm.
It's not great.
It's not. So everyone who listened for a long time knows, that's not my thing. There was no expectations for me to like this thing.
Right.
But I did not enjoy it.
That's fair. I can see how that could be possible.
Remember, if you have a Gone But Not Forgotten for us, hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag GBNF, just like Garrett did. And he says, was never into Japanese-style games, but when I was younger, Zone of the Enders on PS2 had my attention. And no, I had no idea what the story was about, but it was pretty.
Also, like Thomas.
Thomas also Gone But Not Forgotten this week. And real quick, before we move on, I've never played Zone of the Enders, but I've always wanted
to. Same here. Never played it, but I don't know that I'm interested in it.
It is a Hideo Kojima joint.
It is, so you're in for some crazy, wacky, what-the-fuck shit going on. Which is probably why I'm not really interested in playing
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. We'll go with that. let's see. Kojanigans?
Kojanigans.
You gotta get them. Kojanigans. So they're specific to
Kojima's.
Kojima-isms,
I think they call them.
Kojamigans.
Hideo-isms.
Yes, it's a Hideo-ism.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
So, like you said, we typically have no Gone But Not Forgotten. This week we had 2, plus yours. So Thomas also sent one in. So go ahead with Thomas's.
Yep, Thomas says, and this coincides with we didn't get into the news, but RuneScape said they're shutting down the server.
Crazy.
And Thomas's Gone But Not Forgotten he says RuneScape. I am gonna miss this. I know a lot of people played RuneScape.
Yeah, a lot of people played RuneScape. RuneScape, if you ever seen RuneScape, it looks like my kind of game.
Yes, it does.
Everything about RuneScape says, here's a game you would spend hundreds of dollars and millions of hours on.
Yep, that's you.
But I resisted. But rest in peace, RuneScape, and great Gone But Not Forgotten. Remember, hashtag GBNF, and we'll get yours in here. Thanks for the participation, fellas.
It's participation, not proticipation.
Well, they're pros, though.
They are pros, but they are pros participating.
They participate every way. I mean, it's a Hideo-ism. It's fine.
It's not.
It is. He said it before. I know him.
Okay.
We've had lunch.
You and Jeff? And Hideo?
Just me and Hideo. Jeff didn't get the invite. He just stood outside and watched.
No, Jeff there, huh? Wow, you're bigger than Jeff.
He just stood outside
Hideo?
and watched us
Holy
eat because
shit.
he's always there.
What are you wasting your time doing a podcast with me for?
You know you love what you love. Now it's time for shout-outs. Remember, if you want to shout out, all you have to do is head over to patreon.com/Gamestitch and support us at the $10 tier over there. But any support that you can give us helps. And we appreciate everything you do for us.
Oh, allergies. Blah.
Yeah, support us at the $1 tier, and Dan's allergies will get better.
No, I wish. I'd be begging.
So the first shout out from Garrett, and I'm going to do this one because it's pretty much for me.
It is for you.
He just watched South Park season 11, episode 14, and it's called The List. Mm-hmm. It made me think of 2 people who I know are crazy about making lists: my wife and you. And
ironically, no list this week.
No list this week. But here's the thing: I tried to find that episode.
Could you?
I could, but I couldn't find it for free. It's $1.99. I'm not the world's biggest South Park fan, but I want to watch this. So if somebody out there can tell me where I can find this for free, and trust me, I clicked on some janky links. They didn't work. I tried.
Okay.
I did them on my phone because I feel like I'm less likely to get anything on my phone. But I couldn't make it play anywhere. He also sent me a list that his wife had made. Let me tell you, she's a pro.
Oh,
she's
yeah?
a pro list maker.
She could teach you a thing or two?
So she is utilizing a whiteboard, which I love.
Holy fuck.
I love a good whiteboard list. I am a Post-it guy, though. So
with a list on it, or just?
Oh yeah, list. So there are Post-it, especially at work. There are Post-it all over my office that have lists of things that need to be completed or done, and I try to order the Post-its in order, and then mark things off. And then when it gets too chaotic, I will rewrite the list on a Post-it and condense it down. So at any given point, there are probably 20 Post-its in my office right now with shit that has to be done on there.
Okay.
And when it gets so out of hand, which is there now, I will condense that down to like 5 of them. And what it does is it gives me some options. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, nothing on this list looks good to me. So I'll jump over to another list and knock out a task. Because the satisfaction of a list is marking something off. It's not in writing the list.
I don't have a use for lists in my life.
Well, if I don't, I just won't do it. I have the memory of a goldfish.
Oh, I remember things.
It is a necessity for me to write it down, or I won't do it.
Fair
100% won't get done if you don't. If I mean, you've known me long enough. If you just say, "Hey, remember to do this," it won't happen.
No,
if I could remember to do this, you wouldn't have had to send this text.
I don't ask you to remember anything.
It's good because I wouldn't be able to.
I know better.
But I will do lists now. At home, I'm pretty shitty about doing lists. But at work, it's the only way I can stay organized. And I have a whole process. Like every day, I go through them and I prioritize, and it's a thing. But you make a list in order to mark something off. That's why you make a list. The satisfaction is in taking that. Sometimes I even put little things on the list to get me going. Like I'll put little small tasks on there so I can mark something off and get the pen flowing. You know,
Okay.
It's all about momentum. It's a good shout out.
On that note, we're going to move on to Thomas.
It's a good shout out. Thanks for the shout out.
Shout out. Thank you for the shout out.
It's a good shout out.
As you can see, it got him going. He's about ready to go and make a list. So we can mark something off because that's the reason for the list.
It's like a participation trophy. You put something small
nothing,
on there just to mark it off.
If you learn nothing else from this podcast, and you now know the purpose of
Turn the lights on. Check and check.
Yeah, all done. Look at that. You're a superstar. Thomas's shout out actually ties into a shout out last week. Last week we talked about how he had said that his experience of playing the Switch at work was pretty much the same as the reveal trailer. So this week he says it wasn't a rooftop party.
Damn.
But I know. But we did set it up in the break room and take turns on Mario Kart.
That's still pretty good.
It's still a good day. That's still good. That works. So that's Thomas's shout out this week. It's a continuation of our comments on last week, which I like. I like them when they're. Now it's kind of like a list. Now we just crossed off 2 things.
Yep.
See, look at that. I don't feel any different, Ryan. I don't get it.
Well, it's because you didn't actually draw a line through it. The reward is in saying like that's done. Don't need to worry about that anymore.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Lists make you more efficient.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
They're better.
Okay.
If you're not making lists, you're doing it wrong.
Fair enough.
The list.
Okay.
This will be the name of my first indie game that comes out on Dreams.
The list.
Also, Dreams made some. I guess there's some like sketchy ass like comments made at this thing that they are looking into taking things that are made in Dreams and breaking them out and publishing them for people on the PlayStation Network, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. You probably have to sign something that says they can do that, I would imagine.
No, like I think you're a part of it. Like you'll get money off of it. They'll take money off of it. Like it's going to be like a whole like development thing that comes. Apparently, there was like loose talk around that at E3, Judges Week, that like they are thinking that if it takes off the way that they will and things come out that are creative, there will be a store inside the game that lets you actually buy content that you can launch. That's pretty exciting. So there'll be like premium content. There'll also be all the free shit, but you have the option to charge. I think that's cool. All right, that's our shout outs. Remember, patreon.com/Gamestitch. The $10 tier and above gets you a shout out each and every week, no matter what. Follow us on the social medias. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. Together we are at Game_Stitch. You got to follow us on YouTube. We put every episode of the podcast up there. Plus, if we do streams, sometimes you get to know about them. YouTube.com/Gamestitch. Like I said, we got some stuff coming still. I still have a way out once Detroit's finished.
Oh, yeah. We got to get to that.
I'll do a way out.
I didn't get to Beyond Two Souls. I meant to, and I didn't.
Yeah.
That's kind of shitty of me.
I kind of want to stream. When I replay a chapter in Detroit, I may stream it.
Okay.
A shorter one, but I would like to. Hey, people got to see that game. That game's all right.
Just don't do the demo. You just can't do the first chapter, I don't think.
Why?
That was on a demo. That's what they previewed at E3 last year.
Yeah, I could show my decisions, though.
No, okay. Yeah, I guess. I won't watch it. Doesn't sound exciting to me because it's mostly shit I've already seen.
Well, I didn't watch it.
I know it's different.
I didn't watch anybody's playthroughs of those. I stayed away from it. I wanted to be shocked.
Okay.
I need to go. I wonder if there's something you did in that first one. But yeah, I do want to try to stream something out. I think there's a couple of those that are not fun to watch. They try to tackle some pretty tough topics in some of them. I don't know that it's YouTube entertainment or YouTube fodder. So it might be tough to try to find one of those that's really fun to show where you're not totally confused about what's going on. But I would like to try to stream some of that. With See It Thieves update, I'd like to hit for sure. Show off a little more of that. So we'll get some stuff out. I think we already got 2 streams this month, though.
We did.
So even if nothing else hits, you're welcome.
I did some God of War, and you did
Super Mega Baseball 2.
That was it.
Featuring Marshall 205
That's
at like
right.
1
That's
o'clock
what
in the
it was.
morning.
Real late, yeah.
Also, hit us up on Twitch, twitch.tv/Gamestitch. Sometimes we stream there, sometimes we stream on YouTube. They always end up on YouTube after the fact.
Yes, agreed. No doubt.
We appreciate you guys
Boom.
being here.
Thank you.
Lending us your ears for the last
It's been fun.
hour and some change.
It's been fun.
It's been something for sure. Sometimes I wish life had button prompts.
Me too.
It would be easier.
That someone else could push. That way I'm not in control
I still
of my
want to push them, but I
actions.
just want to see what the possible outcomes are before I make them.
You want to see the flow chart?
Yeah, not
See?
a future deal, but I want to see. Oh, I definitely in real life do not want to see the flow chart. The last thing I want to know is how well it could have went had I did something else. This has been episode 280 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place. Good night.
Good night.